right. Good afternoon. It's a nice Saturday afternoon here on the East Coast, and I'm here with the man of steel, Mike Verna. Mike, what's going on?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing great. Wrestling's coming back. I want you talk to me, but I know during this time off, you've just been. How has it been to stay in a good mindset, inside and outside, during all this?
That's a great question. And first of all, thank you for having me, because it is great that wrestling's coming back, and doing another podcast makes me feel like things are getting back into the swing of things. So I'm happy about that. I'm happy about this interview. But I appreciate what you just said, because that was the key. Not to get too much off topic, but anytime a younger wrestler asks me for advice, I always say, make sure that you, as much as you love wrestling and as much as you put your 100% effort into it, always have something outside of the wrestling bubble, because you never know what can happen that can be taken away from you, whether it's a global pandemic or, God forbid, an injury, or some kind of politic thing, or do you just become a bad guy in the locker room and nobody wants to book you, whatever it may be. At the end of the day, there may be an opportunity where it's not there. And if it's not there, you need to have other things around you. So I looked at this pandemic as an opportunity to heal my body, almost enhance my social life again, because, when you're wrestling every single weekend, you don't have much of a social life, reconnect with a lot of friends. So there's a lot of things that kind of help me bounce back during these 7 months, mentally and physically, to the point where, getting back to work tomorrow, I'll feel good as new.
And you did a commercial? That was amazing.
That I did. That was a cool thing. Again, kind of touching on what I said about the wrestling bubble. Wrestling led me to being an actor. I didn't think I would ever be an actor in my life. I was a baseball player. I coached baseball, and I started wrestling. And I never thought acting would be something in my future. But, wrestling is acting in a sense. It's a form of entertainment. It's an entertainment medium. So when I started my acting career about 2018, I started getting some small things, some extra work in movies, working on some background stuff. And then because of wrestling, I did some stunt training. So I did my first independent movie was called Bare Knuckle Brawler with Danny Trejo and a couple other guys. And I was a stunt fighter, taking some bumps, get my character's death on the camera. Let's put it that way. And then this May, I got a email from my agent saying, hey, there's a Philadelphia cream cheese commercial that I think you'd be good for. Give it a shot. So I auditioned for it, got the role, and as of now, the bringer of pain, a.k.a. Mike Verna, the Man of Steel, is the unofficial spokesperson for Philadelphia cream cheese.
That's awesome. And everyone who's seen you with your shirt off knows that you are the Super Jack Paisan. How much cheesecake? Yeah, how much is cheesecake a part of the Mike Verna diet?
Well, honestly, when I was filming that thing, we had to make about, I'd say, 4 or 5 cheesecakes to prepare for the shoot. And that's between you. They get mad at me every time I talk about it, but it's been 5 months now, so screw them. I don't want to hear it. We baked a lot of cheesecakes. And I find myself eating them. I'm like, I'm usually not a huge cheesecake fan, but all of a sudden I'm tasting, I'm like, these are freaking good. So not to put any kind of cheap plugs there, but Philadelphia cream cheese cheesecakes are freaking awesome. I'll tell you that right now. Now, getting back to work, I don't think I can have as many cheesecakes as I would. I promise you that.
Now, tomorrow this happened in Shangri-La Mahastral, coming to us from an undisclosed location. You and your boy Rex Lawless, the Pectoral Poseidon, taking on Cheech and Colin Delany to infinity and beyond. This is like it's a beefy boy match, because you got some solid dudes in this match.
Oh yeah, this is the first time for me and Rex, which is great. I got to know Colin a little bit last year, sharing the locker room with him beyond, and obviously he's been around forever and he's been doing such great things in wrestling. And to see Infinity Beyond with him and Cheech together, it's like, all right, that's a top-notch tag team. So for this to be our first match back and beyond in wrestling in general, which is obviously entering yet again another kind of a recycling of talent, as some guys left for greener pastures and some guys moved up in the ranks, and there's a new set roster. And that's the beautiful thing about Beyond, is that no matter who leaves, who comes, and who goes, it's still it's a top company, if not the top company in independent wrestling, especially in the Northeast. Drew knows how to find talent. Drew knows how to put talent together. He knows how to match make, and he knows how to bring something that's really, really missing, I think, in wrestling these days, which is a feel, an atmosphere. And obviously during the pandemic, all the other TV shows companies, they don't have a fan base and fans at their arenas for the most part, and we're not going to have one tomorrow. But there's something about a Beyond show that always has people engaged, whether it's virtually, whether it's remotely, whether it's in person. So, that's great for us. And, me and Rex, we were a makeshift tag team. We got recruited by Chikara about probably almost 4 years ago now, 2016, I'd say. And we've been Rex is one of my oldest friends in the business. So to be a tag team with him is kind of a poetry of motion in a sense. We become a well-oiled machine. We become a real big boy beefy tag team, and we're looking forward to get back to it tomorrow.
And this will be your first match back since pandemic started.
Yeah, absolutely. It's my first actual match back. So forgive me if there's ring rust, but there won't be any. But forgive me anyway.
When Tiff and I were talking last night, I love tag team wrestling. It's one of those things I grew up loving. We kind of both agree that this is the type of match because your teams, Cheech and Colin have gelled, you and Rex have gelled. I feel like it's going to be a hard-hitting match, and whoever makes the first mistake is going to be, the other team's going to capitalize. Like, it seems like there's going to be a little bit of a stalemate, and then whoever kind of gets in that first big hit, or whoever slips up and, and someone gets put in the dirt, and then that's going to be it.
I agree with you. The thing that I've learned over the years tagging with Rex and myself is that we have to remember that our power game is our strength. No pun intended. We know we can lucha. We know we can fly. We know we can get fast and we can roll around and we can do some flips. But at the end of the day, what makes us different than anybody else in the industry right now when it comes to tag team wrestling is we are legit big, strong men. And if we keep that as our number one goal, I don't think we'll be a slip up, quite frankly.
Okay. Now, as for the undisclosed location, is it aesthetically pleasing? So when we see it tomorrow, what are we in for?
I feel like the undisclosed location kind of looks like a mix of the scene when you're flying. Let's imagine the ring is the helicopter. Okay. And we're approaching Jurassic Park.
Oh, okay.
Just think of it like that. Just think of it like that. All right. Cue in the music. I think it looks beautiful. It's a feel. It's a feel. And weather permitting, vibe permitting, and everything going our way, I think we're going to have another banger at Beyond Wrestling.
Yeah. And in terms of, I asked this of everyone who's competed at Beyond. It's kind of a standard question. Tomorrow, not aside, but when you go out there, regular Beyond show, when everyone's there, what's that energy like when everyone's just like right up on the ring? It's going to be different tomorrow. I think the wrestlers will be ringside. But in general, someone who competes at Beyond or someone who's kind of new to Beyond and watching shows, what's that like when you walk out and everybody's just right there on you?
I want to say, I'm going to use this word because I've used this word throughout the pandemic. It's called unprecedented. That's the thing when I get that feel about Beyond, because like I said before, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a member of the roster, but there's a feel and there's an ambiance and there's an aura that Beyond Wrestling brings that, there are times that you go out there and you lace up your boots and you know that today is going to feel like work. And then there's times you go to Beyond and you go to some of the other companies, but Beyond specifically, you lace up your boots and say, today's a party. Today's fun. Because it's just that environment, man. I mean, you're doing, for example, you're climbing up on that top rope, and I'm crazy. I like to swanton onto concrete floor and wooden floor. And there's a couple of videos from Beyond Wrestling of me doing that and just getting up and not being able to walk the next day. But I'll do that, and I'll look, and there's a reason why you can do that with a fearless mentality, and that is because you can literally see the crowd shaking. You can see the fans up against the ring, banging on the mat, screaming Beyond Wrestling, and you just know, I'm going to jump, and whatever happens, happens.
Nice. And what is the one thing you want Cheech and Colin to know before tomorrow? Not that they'll see this, but if you had a chance to say something to them as we move into tomorrow.
I hope you've been lifting during quarantine, boys. Because the pectoral Poseidon and the Man of Steel are here.
Oh, jeez. Tomorrow, Sunday, 1:00, IWTV. Folks, tune in. The more people we get watching, the more Beyond Wrestling we get, the more Mike Verna we get. And that's good for everybody.
Hell yeah. You're the man. That was great.
Yeah, Mike, thank you so much. Let's go, Mets.
You got to believe. By the way, you got to believe. I know it's tough. I know there's 9 games left, 2.5 games out. I believe.
Yeah. I feel like
got to get better.
23 and 28, we'll see. We got a chance. We'll slide in there and it works out. But again, Mike, thank you so much. I'm excited for tomorrow. You and Rex, it's going to be probably one of the best. I feel like you guys could steal the show, depending on how the match goes. And
I appreciate that, man. That means a lot to me because my first match coming back, that's exactly what I want to do.
All right, Mike, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
You're the man, Matt.